Hello and welcome everyone. In our discussion today, we have Mr. Abhishek Vashishtha sir. He has secured All India rank 14th in the Civil Service Examination in 2024. We are honored to have you here, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
To have a brief introduction about him, he has not just cleared this exam once this time, but third time this year. He has secured the Indian Revenue Service in 2021 and Indian Police Service in 2023. So has an extraordinary element in him to have secured this feat again and again. So, sir, you have been through this preparation for the years, and what you could tell brief about your journey in this UPSC.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. And ma'am, when it comes to UPSC journey, my journey started in 2018 when I wrote the first time prelims in 2018. That year, unfortunately, I was not able to clear prelims. And then in 2019, I wrote my second attempt. I cleared the prelims, but I failed at the mains stage because what happened, I was focused too much upon the prelims after the first failure. In 2020, during my third attempt, I got selected for the first time. I cleared the exam for the first time. I was allotted the Indian Revenue Service. I was at peace, okay, because I got a service and IRS was a good service. But when I started to prepare for this exam, IAS was my first preference. So I thought of giving the exam again. In 2021, I wrote the exam again, but that year I reached up to the interview stage, but my name was not in the final merit list. Again, that was a very disheartening moment because you were already in the service and you are not getting your name in the final merit list. Forget about the rank improvement. So that was a disheartening moment for my journey of UPSC. In 2022, I again wrote the exam, and fortunately that year I was allotted Indian Police Service. So I left with one last attempt, and as I said earlier, IAS was my first preference. So I thought of writing the exam again by availing the extraordinary leave. And in the final attempt, in the sixth attempt, I got All India rank 14, and I am expecting Indian Administrative Services. So that is my journey in brief, ma'am.
Okay, very well, sir. So, sir, as from your journey, we have seen that across the three stages, the preliminary stage, the main stage, the interview stage, there are several challenges that also comes associated with it, right? So, how do you think that all the three stages of UPSC bring some challenges associated with it, or what kind of importance these three different stages has with it?
So, ma'am, when it comes to UPSC, as you said, there are three stages to this examination, and every stage has its unique set of challenges. So, when it comes to prelims, what I feel, for me at least, prelims is very tough. Yeah, the most challenging stage for me was prelims. Because the main challenge in prelims, that syllabus is not very defined. If you look at the mains notification of UPSC, the main syllabus is very comprehensively defined. So in prelims, first of all, we don't have any well-defined syllabus. So everything under the sky will become the syllabus of prelims. So that is the first challenge when it comes to the prelims. And second, the exam is very unpredictable. If you look at the paper of last 2 or 3 years of the prelims, it is very unpredictable. Questions are not coming from very traditional area. Even if you look at polity, generally we read Lakshmikant. Now the questions are going beyond the Lakshmikant. Similarly, in the modern history, questions are going beyond the spectrum, which is generally read books. So that increase the unpredictability in the examination of prelim, in the stage of prelims, and also the current affairs are very uncertain. So prelims is very uncertain in that respect. When it comes to mains, though the syllabus is very well defined, now the problem comes in the consolidation. Syllabus is there, but it is very vast. You have to read history, geography, polity, security, science, environment, everything you have to read. And you only have 3 months after your prelims and before your mains. In 3 months, you have to read, you have to make your notes, you have to consolidate your notes, you have to update your notes with the current affairs. Then you have to do the answer writing practice also. And then again, there will be GS, then you have to focus on optional also. So there will be a lot many things, and consolidation will be a challenge, and answer writing will be a challenge. And when it comes to the last and the final stage of personality test, again it has its own set of challenges, because personality test is a test of your personality, not the test of your knowledge. So your communication skills, your confidence, the balance in your answer, all these things have to come together in your answer. And again, the pressure will be there, because when you are writing prelims, when you are writing mains, you are sitting alone. Okay, you don't have a fear of getting judged. But when you are giving the personality test, 5 experienced person are sitting in front of you, and there will be anxiety, and there will be fear, and that test your confidence, that test your articulation skills. So that are the challenges when it comes to the personality test.
Yes, as you mentioned that the preliminary stage, it is highly unpredictable, and interview, it is largely very subjective. So would that be a wiser decision to focus more on mains, as it is predictable and it would be able to fetch you more marks?
So ma'am, in my opinion, that one should try to maximize his or her score during the mains, because if you look at the mains paper, the paper is more or less predictable. At least you can predict the themes. For example, every year in society, question is coming from globalization. More or less every year question is coming from that theme. Question are coming from the theme of women. Because you can predict the theme, and you can prepare them in advance. Okay, you cannot prepare the entire paper, that is one thing. At least you can prepare the predictable themes, and that will increase your score in the mains stage. And then the role of interview will be there, but it will come down a bit for you. So better to focus on mains.
Sir has secured a consistently great amount of marks in the GS paper. He has always secured around 400 and 400 plus in several of his attempts. So, sir, what was your approach in preparing for the GS and the optional likewise?
When it comes to GS, as I said earlier also, you have to select the themes that are often repeated themes. So first thing that I did was to analyze the previous year paper, because that is like the compass when it comes to the UPSC. So when you analyze the previous year paper, you have to link the previous year paper with the syllabus. Then you will realize, okay, themes are more or less same. Just to give you one example, if you take the theme of self-help group, if you look at the previous year paper, only 4 or 5 themes are getting repeated. For example, the significance of the self-help group, or the challenges in the self-help group, or the way ahead. So you can easily prepare 4, 5, 6 points under these headings. Take a 5.4 challenge, 5.4 significance, 5.4 way ahead. So I use the same thing for each and every topic that are written in the syllabus. Yeah, I used to have one separate copy for each subject. For example, when it comes to social justice, I made my notes in 20-22 pages. I never read anything else when it comes to the static part. I only kept them updating with my current affairs. Okay, so that thing I did. First, identify the themes. Second, make short static notes for the selected themes or the selected dimension. Third, keep updating your notes with the current affairs. Okay. You have your newspaper with you. You have the current affairs magazines with you. We have to interlink. For example, if there is a news on e-governance, and you find it relevant for the exam, it is always better you pick that news or pick that data, and you write it in your static notes. That is how you keep consolidating your stuff, and the revision will become very easy. And the last thing, and the most important thing, is the answer writing practice, because ultimately whoever correct your answer script, he or she will not be aware कि आपने कितना पढ़ा, कितना revise करा. He or she only have your answer script. So until unless you don't write it very effectively, you are not going to fetch marks. So writing answer is a skill, and any skill you can learn by practice. So it is always advisable that you have to practice, a lot. You can practice through previous year paper, or you can practice through the coaching में जो आपकी test series होती है, तो your skill will develop. So that is how, ma'am, I try to do all these things, and that is why my score is more or less consistent when it comes to the general studies. And second part is about the political science, which was my optional. So for political science, I relied upon my class notes, because I did not have any background in political science. So mostly I relied upon my class notes. Again, especially paper 1 is more or less static, but paper 2 is dynamic. So class notes may not be updated. So for that, you have to read the newspaper articles, or there are good think tank like Observer Research Foundation or the Diplomat. You can read the articles from these platform, and you can update your class notes. And again, answer writing plays a very important role in PSIR as well.
So as you highlight that previous year questions and answer writing and test series, all of that is very important. What do you think about the evaluation aspect? How far evaluation helps you in enriching your answers and getting more score?
Ma'am, but I feel in initial attempts, when you are no, when you don't have much experience when it comes to the answer writing, you need to have a good set of evaluators. Okay, they can be your friends, they can be your mentors, or it can be from the coaching center also. Because initially you are not aware what is the demand of UPSC, what are the characteristics of the good answer, or you may know but you are not able to implement it because there may be a gap between the strategy of topper and the implementation when it comes to the answer writing practice. So initially 1 or 2 attempts, I think the evaluators played a very important role. I remember one of my friend used to correct my answer script. She gave very good feedback to me. I also have a set of mentors that helped me a lot. But as you grow in the UPSC journey, for after 2 or 3 mains, you will be self-sufficient to evaluate your own answers because you have experience. So in conclusion, ma'am, initially you need to have a evaluator, then you can correct your own answer also.
As you mentioned, your optional was political science and international relations. So how far there are some challenges and benefits that you can say are associated with this particular optional?
Ma'am, first I talk about the challenges. The biggest challenge with respect to political science is the syllabus. Syllabus is very vast because if you paper one part A itself is very bulky. So syllabus is the biggest set when it comes to the political science. Second biggest challenge with political science is that more and more number of people are writing the optional with mains with political science as their optional, and mostly everyone is reading the same stuff. So writing something new or writing something creative is a challenge because if everyone is reading the same thing and everyone is writing the same content, then how you will differentiate your answer with the rest of the candidate? That is the second challenge. And when it comes to the advantages of the political science, the biggest advantage is that it has a lot of overlap with the GS2 paper. Even the optional will help you in your ethics paper, it will also help you in the essay paper. So though it will take time, but it will give you rewards in the other segment of your paper also. And as IR is something which is also very important for personality test. Because I saw the tendency among the UPSC board members to ask questions from the IR section. And if you have political science as your optional, the option will also help you in your personality test.
So as you mentioned that there are different parameters like overlap with the GS papers, the dynamic nature of the subject. So could you just enlist 4-5 parameters which should be kept in mind while selecting an optional paper for the students?
Ma'am, selection of optional is very important first of all, and I feel that the single most important parameter that should goes behind selection of optional is your interest, because as I said on other platform also, that in GS the breadth of your interest will be checked, but when it comes to the optional, both the breadth and the depth of your interest will be checked. So until and unless you don't have interest in a particular subject, you won't be able to develop the depth of your knowledge. So your interest should be the primary factor without when it comes to the selection of the optional. Second important factor is the guidance, because if you are choosing a optional which is not the optional of your academic background, then you need to have guidance for the same. So if you are getting a good guidance, it may be from your relative, it may be from your friends, it may be from some coaching institute, but you should have some platform from where you get the guidance. And third, that the you should have someone to evaluate your answer in that particular option. But again, these are the secondary parameters. The only primary factor is the interest in the particular subject.
There has always been suggestions that while choosing an optional, you should also look at the trend of the marks that the candidates from that optional are getting. So would that be important?
Ma'am, when I started my preparation, I also fell in that trap of looking at the analysis of the score. But I feel that every year from every optional paper are getting selected. Yeah, it may be a case that in a particular year optional A may not fetch good marks, but there is no guarantee that next year the same optional will not get the good marks, or optional B will always get the good marks. So these things are not in your control. You should never select optional based on the trends in the marking, because it keeps changing. Okay, with every year some optional will flourish, some optional will sink, but it is not in your hand. So better to go with your interest.
So how does the current affair plays an important role in the PSIR subject particularly?
Ma'am, PSIR is very dynamic, especially the paper 2, because it is international relation and it is mostly dynamic in nature. So you have to keep your eye on the current affairs. You have to keep update your notes with the current affairs, and it is very crucial for paper 2 when it comes to PSIR.
Yes, sir, thanks for the insight and the experiences that you have shared with us. So towards the end of our discussion, we'll like to have a quick rapid fire round with you. So we'll ask just a few questions, all right? So what is the one subject that you secretly disliked but still studied anyway?
Ma'am, they are mostly subject I disliked, but I have to read them. For example, environment, I don't like it as a subject. Same goes with ancient and medieval history also. But anyway, you have to read
Yes,
these
we have to
subjects.
read it. Second question, one motivational song that you had on loop while your preparation.
Okay, there was a song by Dino James, that Unstoppable. I remember after my second attempt, I used to listen that song for 50-55 minutes on a continuous basis. So that song helped me a lot.
Okay. The next question, one hobby you like to return after your selection.
Ma'am, I used to play a cricket a lot. So during preparation, I did not get much time to play the sport, but I love the sport. So I want to again start to play the game, or at least to watch the game again.
Okay. And if you could describe your UPSC journey by the means of a book or a movie, what would be the title be?
Ma'am, the story of perseverance. The title of my story should be the story of perseverance, because it took me 6 attempts or 8 years to reach to the AIR 14. So I think perseverance and patience played a very important role. So the title should be the story of perseverance.
So as you brought to us the perseverance and the values like patience, so I would like to give you 3-4 parameters and you can arrange them on the order of priority during this exam, right? So first is strategy, then consistency, luck and support system.
Ma'am, first of all, the strategy. Strategy is very important because, and second is consistency. You have to be consistent in the right direction. And third is the support system, because you may have the right strategy, you may have the consistency, but if you are not getting the desired support, it will be very difficult for you to carry forward in this journey. And last, the luck. Luck is very important, but it is the least of the important in these four things. So luck will be the fourth priority for me.
Okay. So one last question. What would you tell your 10-year-old self if they saw you now?
Oh, that is an interesting question, ma'am. I'll tell the 10-year-old Abhishek that yes, you are not in a very right background right now, but trust me that with the hard work and the perseverance, and with the right kind of support around you, you will achieve whatever you want. You can do the wonders, and keep trying, keep hustling, and at the end of the day you will get what you want.
Thank you so much, sir. And with these concluding lines from Abhishek, sir, we can take out the notes that it is just the hustle, it is just the hard work that can bring us to the new adventures, new endeavors, and that can land up in beautiful, beautiful situations. So thank you so much for the discussion. We had a pleasure for having you here.